All right, as 2025 gets closer, our minds naturally turn to those big New Year's resolutions. But what if, this year, we decided to make them smarter, not just bigger? In this explainer, we're going to lean on the very latest research from 2024 to build 3 simple, science-backed resolutions that you can actually stick to, all focused on brain health, sleep, and diet. But first, let's talk about something we've probably all experienced, the resolution trap. You know the feeling, right? You kick off January with all this energy and these huge ambitions, but then February rolls around and somehow all that motivation has just vanished. It's this frustrating cycle, but here's the thing. It's not a personal failure. It's actually a flaw in the way we set our goals in the first place.
So that really begs the question, doesn't it? Why do these goals that we start with such good intentions so often just fall apart? Well, it turns out the answer has a lot less to do with willpower and a whole lot more to do with our strategy.
Here's the core issue. We try to climb the entire mountain in one go. We set these massive, vague goals like, I'm going to get totally healthy, or I'm going to exercise every single day. But our brains are literally wired to resist huge, sudden changes. It feels overwhelming. So in a way, we're setting ourselves up to fail before we even begin.
Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the fix? The good news is there's a much, much smarter way to build habits that actually stick, and it doesn't require some superhuman level of willpower, just a simple shift in how you approach it.
And here it is. It really just boils down to a simple 2-part rule. First, you've got to start small. I mean, really small. And second, you have to be as specific as possible. So a goal like eat healthier becomes, I will add a serving of vegetables to my dinner. And exercise more turns into, I will walk for 10 minutes right after lunch. See the difference? Small, specific, and totally manageable. That's the secret sauce we're going to apply.
Let's dive into our first pillar, sleep. For so long, we've treated sleep like it's a luxury we can cut back on. But you know what? Groundbreaking research from this past year pretty much confirms it's absolutely non-negotiable for our long-term health, especially when it comes to our brains. And the science here is honestly pretty striking. We're not just talking about feeling a little groggy the next day. A major 2024 study literally drew a direct line from having disrupted sleep in your 30s and 40s to experiencing memory problems decades down the road. Why? Because when you're in deep sleep, your brain is doing critical maintenance. It's consolidating memories and clearing out metabolic junk. Skipping on that means you're literally speeding up the aging process in your brain. Think of it as a long-term investment in your future self. Okay, this brings us to pillar number 2, diet. Let's be honest, nutrition advice can feel like you're trying to navigate a maze of crazy, conflicting information. But this year, some of the biggest global health authorities actually teamed up to give us some really clear, unified guidance.
And this is a big deal. When you see the World Health Organization and the Food and Agriculture Organization release a joint report, you listen. It really cuts through all the noise. Their 2024 publication gives us clear recommendations, and it's all about a diet packed with whole grains, legumes, fruits, and veggies. At the same time, they advise a sharp cutback on free sugars and unhealthy fats. This isn't some fad diet. This is the global gold standard for long-term health. And that leads us to our third and final pillar, movement. We all kind of know exercise is good for us, right? But the latest science is showing that the connection is way more profound than we thought. It's not just about weight or muscles. It's about fundamentally rewiring our brains and our bodies for a healthier and even longer life. And when you look at it, the contrast is just so stark. It's like 2 sides of a coin. On one side, you've got action. Studies this year showed that pretty much any kind of exercise helps rejuvenate the brain by boosting blood flow and firing up growth factors. On the other side, inaction. Living a sedentary lifestyle was directly linked to a much higher risk of heart failure and other chronic diseases. The choice really couldn't be clearer.
So there we have it, our 3 pillars: sleep, diet, and movement. They're all backed by the very latest science, and they're all governed by that same simple rule we talked about: start small and be specific. So let's put this all together into a simple little cheat sheet for your 2025 health goals.
Here it is, all in one place. For sleep, just remember, protecting your memory in the future really does start with getting a good night's rest tonight. For diet, try to focus on that unified advice from the global experts. Basically, more plants, less processed junk. And for exercise, just know that any movement, big or small, is a powerful way to protect both your brain and your heart.
So let's end with this one simple question. Forget about the giant, intimidating New Year's overhaul. Based on everything we've just talked about, what is the one small, specific change you can commit to? And I don't mean next week, I mean tomorrow. Maybe it's just putting your phone away 15 minutes before bed. Or maybe it's adding a handful of nuts to your breakfast. That single, small step, that's where real, lasting change always begins. So what's yours going to be?